Hey, how is it going? It is your muscle building coach, Lee Hayward, with another live video chat for Friday, November the 22nd. And today, as always, I'll be doing a video chat, answering questions that you may have with regards to fitness, nutrition, building muscle, losing fat, dealing with injuries, setbacks, all that kind of stuff. And I have some stories to share about that. But before I get into all that, I just want to make sure that this is coming through loud and clear. So if you can hear me, if you can see me, if you're tuned in live right now, please let me know in the video chat so that I can make sure that this is coming through. All right, I just want to check that out. I always do my pre-video audio check. All right, Derek's joining us. Cool, thanks, Derek. I think it's coming through. Awesome, guys. Appreciate it. It's this Southern NH drum saying loud and clear. I had a bit of a shitty day today, for lack of a better word. This morning, I was at the gym training, and I decided to do some new photos for my website because all the photos that are on my website and you know, my social media and stuff, most of them are old unless they're like cell phone selfies or something like that. But I wanted to get some new photos for my website and for videos and all that kind of stuff, because I've finally gotten my shite together, so to speak, and got myself in decent shape again. I mean, it's the best shape that I've been in years, right? You know, I've really come up with a nice solid system for losing fat, you know, maintaining it. And bottom line, I was in the gym this morning. I had my wife with me, and we were doing some photos. So we did several exercises and that. And then I said, well, I want to get some photos of pull-ups. So we were doing some pull-ups. And because we were doing a photo shoot, I was doing really slow reps because I wanted to like hold the position of the exercise so that we could get some good photos. Because obviously, if you're going through a fast cadence, sometimes the camera's not going to focus or whatever. So I was just doing slow motion reps and really holding the pull-up. And while I was doing it, on my left side, I tore a muscle right in my tricep lat tie-in area. And it hurts like hell now. Like, it hurts me. I'm not going to even lift that arm up. I mean, I'm on painkillers right now, so that helps to numb the pain. But bottom line, I tore a muscle this morning, so I'm pretty, you know, for lack of a better word, it's pissed off, and it was a setback because I was on a roll. I was really happy with my progress that I was making, and this is obviously going to be a significant setback. Now, with that being said, it doesn't seem like it's a tendon tear. Like, if you have a tendon or ligament tear, the muscle actually detaches from the tendon, or the tendon detaches from the bone. It causes the muscle like to roll up and deform. There's no deformation there. It's just very painful, right? I mean, like, when I did it, I could just feel the muscles just, you know, it's just this weird ripping sensation in the muscles when I did it. And of course, I just dropped from the pull-up bar, and, you know, but there doesn't seem to be any deformation there at the moment. So I'm thankful, knock on wood, that there is no deformation. If it's just a really bad pull or muscle fiber tears, usually that heals up on its own. Like, I've torn muscles in the past. Like, I tore my right bicep several years back, and it was just the fibers themselves. So, like, if the fibers themselves tear, they can usually heal back, and the muscle will grow back normal again. But if it's tendon or ligament tears, then you'll have a deformation there. And that's where you see people with like weird looking muscles because of the tendon tears. So it doesn't appear to be that yet, but like I say, it's still pretty soon to tell. There's no bruising or discoloration, but again, it was only a few hours ago that I tore it. So the bruising wouldn't have time to set in yet. It usually takes at least 24 hours after a tear for, you know, it start to turn purple and discolored. So I'll find out tomorrow, basically. You know, if it starts to bruise and tear, well, then, you know, if it starts to bruise and discolor, then I know that it's a tear. But if it's just if there's no bruising or discoloration and there's no deformation, then it's probably just a really bad muscle pull that hurts like a bitch at this moment. So I'm kind of keeping my fingers crossed that that's all it is, but we'll have to wait and see. But in the meantime, I know it's, regardless if it's a bad pull or tear, it's going to take a while to heal. This isn't just something that is going to bounce back from in a matter of a few days. But anyway, just I'll keep you updated with how that goes. But it was a piss off this morning because I was on a roll and I was really feeling good, but not anymore. But nonetheless, I'm still going to keep going. So I got the video chat scheduled for today. So hey, we're still going to have a conversation. I mean, I can still flat my gab. I can see, right? I can still do that much, even though I can't lift right now. So if you have any questions or any topics of discussion that you would like to have covered during today's chat, feel free to post them. All right. I'm going to be hanging out here for the next hour now and having a conversation with you. I know we got several people tuned in live. So if you are new to the video chat, let me know. Type the letter N into our chat window right now to let me know if you're brand new to these video chats. And if so, I want to welcome you. If you're a regular and you've tuned into these live video chats before, type the letter R. Let me know if you are a regular to our video chats. Yeah, I'd just like to know. So have Ricky's joining us from the UK, Fernando from Sweden, Dan is joining us. A lot of regulars. Oh, we got a couple new people joining in. Awesome. We got Florin joining in. Awesome. Welcome, Florin. I know Florin just went through our Lose Your Gut Challenge and come on board for the VIP Muscle Over 40 coaching program. So I'm looking forward to working with you over the next several months. It's going to be awesome. Derek is tuned in. All right. We got a lot of new people. Wow. This is really cool. Normally when I do these video chats like this, it's just a whole stream of regulars, but we have several new people joining in. So again, the way these work, guys, anything that you want to discuss, this is like we're just shooting from the hip, having a bit of fun here, having a conversation. So anything you would like to cover during today's video chat as far as questions about building muscle, losing fat, any strategies that you want to cover with regards to nutrition, workouts, feel free. Supplementation, injuries, right? I'll have lots of stories to tell you about injuries. And the stupid thing about it, like I was warmed up before I pulled myself, but what it did for me, why I injured myself today was I was doing I was doing the exercise in a way that I'm not normally accustomed to, because normally I do a very smooth, slow, or not a slow tongue tie. Maybe it's the painkillers. I don't know. If I sound stupid today, it's because of the painkillers. But anyway. I'm normally when I'm doing my exercises, I have a rhythmic tempo, right? I'm up and down. But today I was holding the repetitions because I wanted to get some good photos, and that's something I'm not used to. So when I was holding that pull up under tension, under strain, and as soon as the muscles were straining, and I did several reps because I said, okay, like let's get a bunch of pictures from this angle, let's get a bunch of pictures from this angle, and then we were doing a third angle. So I was already like pretty fatigued and pumped and straining at that point. And then when I did it, then just pop right in freaking tricep and just let go there. So it hurts. Put it that way, it hurts. But I like the thing was it wasn't a regular injury because I was warmed up, and of course it's not like ridiculously heavy weight. I was doing a body weight exercise, but still, it goes to show you, man. Like sometimes, even with the best of intentions, like you can go through your warm up, you can do your mobility work and all that stuff. And I did. Like I started off with the rower. Did some mobility work first, did some warm-up sets of pull-ups and all that, and I still got injured. So sometimes even with the best of intentions, you can still get injured. But, I feel good in a way that it wasn't a stupid injury. It wasn't like I went in there cold or anything like that. I still did everything that I should have done. It's just, I guess, got the shitty end of the stick today. Hopefully it's not too serious, but we'll wait and see. But anyway, let's see what questions we got coming through there. Derek's asking about supplementation for beginners. Honestly, Derek, yes, I do recommend some supplements for beginners, right? But focus on your nutrition first. Like supplements is a very, very small piece of the puzzle. Very small. Your workouts, your nutrition, your sleep, your rest, your lifestyle habits, all that stuff matters so much more than supplements. A problem that a lot of beginners have is they want to get in shape, they want to lose weight, they want to build muscle, they want to whatever your goal is, right? Let's just say lose the gut and build muscle, get back in shape, right? That's a very common goal for a lot of guys. So you want to do that. First thing they go looking for, well, I got to look for a shortcut, right? Give me a muscle building supplement, give me a fat burning supplement. What's the best supplement that's going to help me? All the supplements in the world aren't going to do diddly shit if you don't have your diet and training and lifestyle habits in check. Like if you were to like rank them, like, and how much of a percentage of improvement are you going to get? you'll probably get 5% improvement with supplements, whereas diet, training, and lifestyle is 95%. So why frig around with the 5% when you are neglecting the other 95? Like, focus on the 95% first, the diet, the exercise, and the lifestyle. Get that nailed down. And then if you want to try and maximize your progress with supplementation, that's when you can look into it. And I'm a big fan of just overall health and longevity type of supplements, not the stupid bodybuilding supplements that you see in the supplement stores, like all the quote unquote muscle builders and fat burners and whatever. Like, for me, I like focusing on the key things that we really need for our overall health and fitness. I'll share some of the ones that I take personally. I supplement with B complex, vitamin B complex, vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, essential fatty acids, omega-3s. I supplement with the greens powder, and these are for health, longevity, and just making sure that you don't have any deficiencies. Like, a lot of people are deficient in vitamin D. A lot of people are deficient in magnesium and zinc. A lot of people are not getting enough B vitamins. So all these things you want to make sure that you're getting adequate amounts of. As you get a bit older, it also helps to supplement with probiotics and digestive enzymes, because your digestive capabilities are not the same when you get older as they were when you were younger. Like, if you suffer from gas, bloating, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea — I sound like a Pepto-Bismol commercial here. But if you suffer from any of that stuff, you probably have some gut issues, and supplementing with digestive enzymes and probiotics can help to alleviate that. So I'm a big fan of those as well. And that's what I would focus on first and foremost. I would take that over any of the so-called, like going to the gym and seeing what magic muscle dust is on the shelf at your local supplement store, right? Like, that's not the priority. Focus on health, fitness, and adequate nutrition. That's the key. I got a little bit of coffee there. I'm almost out. All right, what else we got? So that was the supplement question. I've got videos about supplements as well. So if you just do a search for Lee Hayward supplements on YouTube, you probably find a video that I made about covering some of this basic stuff. Oh, fuck, that hurts. Sorry, my French, guys. That hurt the arm then when I sneezed. All right. Anyway, back at it. Rob is joining us. He says, I feel your pain. I did weight training video production from university many years ago, and I was the guy in the gym making the video. Got an A, by the way. Awesome, Rob. Rob's one of my coaching students. I was actually having a conversation with him yesterday. Yeah. Marcus is joining us. Logical Order is joining us. He says, which workout split is optimal for making the most hypertrophic growth? The one you follow. The workout you follow is the one that's going to be the best for hypertrophic growth. Like, honestly, anything that you do consistently is going to produce results. Now, it depends on the level that you're at. Like, if you're brand new to the gym and you've never worked out before, you're just getting started or whatever, like, just do a basic total body workout. Don't make it overly complicated. It's a pet peeve of mine. People try and overcomplicate things. And sometimes you'll even have trainers and coaches and stuff and fitness influencers online. Like, they'll overcomplicate it, saying, oh, I have the science-based workout program, and this one is scientifically proven by 102 studies to be the most hypertrophic growth-producing workout. Like, a lot of people try and overcomplicate the process to make themselves sound smarter. And true brilliance is in simplicity. Honestly, the best workout program is the one that you will follow, the one that you can do consistently. That is the best workout program. Like, you can't optimize what you don't standardize. So if you're not going to the gym yet, like, anything you do is going to be better than nothing. Once you have that underway, where you're actually going to the gym, you're actually working out consistently, and you're actually making some progress, training in a progressive overload fashion, then we can focus on optimizing it, figuring out, okay, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you need to focus on? What don't you need to focus on as much? Like, it's really an individual thing. It's not saying, like, it's like I can't throw out a cookie cutter plan and say, oh, this XYZ program is the most hypertrophic muscle building program for everybody. It really depends on the individual and their situation. And but bottom line, the best workout is the one you follow. All right, we have Brent joining us. Says, I have wrist pain only when doing push-ups, pull-ups, and bench press. Any input or experience on how to relieve this? Okay, wrist pain. It really depends. I mean, like if you have a pre-existing injury or something, or if you've got something strained or pulled in your wrist, one thing that you can do to kind of remedy the situation in the short term, try wearing wrist wraps. A lot of times you see me wearing wrist wraps in my videos and stuff. The reason I wear them is because I suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome, and I find the wrist wraps helps to alleviate that. It helps me to manage it. Like if I don't wear the wrist wraps, then what happens is my carpal tunnel starts to inflame. But if I wear the wrist wraps and I do stretching for my hands and wrists, I can keep it under control, and knock on wood, I haven't had to go get surgery. Now, with that being said, carpal tunnel surgery these days is a lot less invasive than it used to be. Like once upon a time, they used to have to slice open your whole hand and down the full, wrist area and do a big major, well, still not major, but a significant operation that took months and months to heal from. My mother had it done, and, I've seen it firsthand. However, my father had it done within the last year or so, and nowadays it's only a very minor incision. But still, if I can avoid surgery and just kind of do a bit of proactive measure, that's why I wear the wrist wraps, because I find it just helps to keep it under control. And as long as I do that, and I also do the stretching exercises, again, if you want more information about carpal tunnel syndrome, just search for Lee Hayward, carpal tunnel on YouTube. I've got several videos, but that's why I wear wrist wraps. But it also helps to support your wrists when you're doing those exercises. So if you're doing your push-ups and pull-ups and all that, or your bench presses, it can help. Another one that I would probably recommend as well is, for all those different exercises, try a different variation of them. So if you can't do push-ups with your hands flat on the floor because it causes wrist pain, try holding push-up bars or maybe a hex dumbbells. And the reason why I say hex dumbbells is the ones that are shaped like hexagons on the end. They won't roll, right? And you can use those as push-up handles. And I actually have videos on YouTube showing exactly how to do that. If you do a search for Lee Hayward, push-ups hurt my wrist, you'll find that video. All right, I've got a lot of videos up on YouTube. There's literally over 1,000 videos on my YouTube channel. What else was there? Pull-ups causing your wrists to hurt. I would probably try doing some different variations if possible. Well, first off, try pull downs, because you can obviously use lighter weight. And try different grips, like maybe a V-bar attachment, underhand grip, maybe easy curl bar, something like that, just to try and change the variation and see if that alleviates the pain that you're having in your wrist. What else was it? Bench press. Instead of regular barbell bench press, try either a dumbbell bench press, which allows more freedom of movement with your hands and your positioning. That usually can help alleviate pain in the wrists. Or you can even try, experiment with a chest press machine instead. Bottom line, change the exercise variation. If a certain exercise causes pain or discomfort, don't do it. Experiment and try and find another variation that you can do instead. All right, next question. One badass Croatian. That's his username, right? So we have a badass Croatian joining in. Hello, Lee. Thank you for doing these. It's a great way for us to ask questions. It certainly is, my friend. It says, do you believe that we need to isolate our forearms, or will they grow just by doing deadlifts, farmer's walks, etc.? You will get forearm stimulation just by lifting weights, because the forearms, i.e. your grip, is what connects you to the barbells, dumbbells, machines, whatever it is you're doing. So even if you don't do any isolation for your forearms, you're still going to develop the forearms to a degree. However, you can maximize it if you do isolated forearm exercises. And if you want a forearm workout, I'll give you one. I'll give you one for free. It hurts the arm even to type. Oh, man. Let me just see. I'm going to send a link. If you're watching this via replay later on, it's going to be... I'll post a link in the description. Frig it. I'll just post it here. So Mr. Croatian, who was asking about forearms, free forearm workout PDF. Boom. Just posted a link to it there. Should be down in the bottom of our video chat there if you want to go download it. It's a PDF program I put together. It's called Huge Freaky Forearms. Gotta love the name. But that's a free PDF that you can download. And there's also comes with a calf program. I actually have a bundle of them. So there's killer calves and huge freaky forearms. It's kind of like the icing on the cake, right? Working the extremes, right? You know, the end of your limbs from both top and bottom. And those are two programs that cover some of the best exercises for developing the forearms as well as developing the calves. But I would recommend that. So again, you can go download that, and I'll post a link to that in the description below. So that anybody who's watching the replay will be able to download it as well. Because most of the people who watch this video chat are not tuning in live. Like, you know, we'll get, you know, a couple dozen or a few dozen watch it live, and then hundreds more will watch the replay afterwards. Torin is joining us. He says, what's a good whey protein brand with no maltodextrin? Is maltodextrin harmful? I'm taking 2 to 3 shakes a day. No, maltodextrin is not necessarily harmful. It's just carbohydrates, but you really need to check the label. The one that I like to use a lot is I'm a big fan of Optimum Nutrition whey protein. Their gold standard one. That's one that I tend to go to a lot. But there's a lot of whey proteins. Like any of the big brand names of whey protein are good. The thing you need to realize about most whey protein powders is most of the supplement manufacturers are buying up the raw material from the same source, and they're just getting it packaged up as their own product, adding in their own flavors and additives and whatever. So a lot of times the protein you get from like supplement company A is the same protein you're getting from supplement company B. Now, it might have some different flavors and additives or whatever, depending on whatever the supplement company wants to throw in there. But the raw material is very often the same. So the thing you really need to look at is just read the label, like see what it is that you're getting. But one that I've used for years and I keep going back to is Optimum Nutrition Gold Standard. I mean, that's a good solid protein powder I recommend and use. It's another one that I've been using a lot lately. Muscle Farm Combat, they have one. I get my protein powder at Costco, right? Because they usually have the best deals around. You can buy it in bulk, and lately they've had a lot more selection there. So that's where I more often than not get them. But those are a couple. But the bottom line, you really need to just check the label, and it depends on where you're located as well. Because I know, like in North America versus if you're in Europe or if you're in other parts of the world, like the protein powders that you have available are going to vary, right? But you can refer to Optimum Nutrition as kind of like a benchmark to go by. So with whatever brand you're looking at, compare its label to what you see on the Optimum Nutrition one and try and get something that's very similar. And if you really want to compare it, just go on Amazon and search. Right? I mean, like you can compare different proteins that you have available in your local area. Do you lose strength after 35? That's from Marcus. It depends on the individual. I mean, some people might hit their peak at 35. Some people might hit their peak in their 40s. In my case, I was at my peak strength in my late 20s. Then I had some injuries. And they continue to happen, but I had some injuries, and that really set me back. But it's really an individual thing, right? There's so many variables that come into play where that would cause someone to be at their peak strength, right? Genetically, like if naturally, I think most people somewhere in their 30s would probably be close to their peak. That's typically like late 20s, early 30s is when most people are at their quote unquote prime. But it's going to vary depending on your lifestyle, your exercise habits, everything else. Like if you were lazy all your life and then decided to start working out in your 30s, well then okay, you might hit your peak in your 30s or 40s. If you were active as a kid, in your teenage years, then you might hit your peak earlier. Like it depends on so many variables. It's not just these one size cookie cutter answers that apply to everybody. Okay, where else was I? Fernando's asking, I've got your app some years ago, and I've been working out since then, full body 3 times a week with amazing results. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Well, I appreciate it, Fernando. Glad you enjoy the app. And I have to say, there is a lot of good quality programs on that. Like the whole idea behind that app is I really said, like, how can I just, if somebody came to me like brand new, didn't know how to work out, didn't know how to eat right, and I was just trying to give them as much value as I could to get them started on the right track, that's what I put into that app, right? Like, it's just like kind of like a one-stop shop. Like, do this and you're going to get yourself moving in the right direction. That's what I had in mind when I created that. So there's a lot of workout programs in there. There's a whole exercise database. There's nutrition, sample meal plans in there. There's a lot of stuff there. So if you don't have the Total Fitness Bodybuilding app, head on over to my website, leehayward.com. There is a direct link to the App Store. You can download it for Apple as well as Android, and get yourself a copy. I guarantee it's going to be the best $2 you'll spend on your bodybuilding and fitness. It's the best $2 investment you're going to get. Okay, let's see what else we've got. Chris is joining in saying, hang in there, Lee. You did all the right things, warmed up, but sometimes things happen. I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks for the support, my friend. And for those of you who are just tuning in late, don't know what the heck I'm talking about, this morning I had an injury in the gym. I tore my tricep lat area. That's why I'm kind of like sitting like a stick in the mud here. So I'm pumped up on painkillers now. The show must go on, but I'm deep down. I think my pride is hurt more than my muscles, even though I tore the tricep and lat tie-in area. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out tomorrow if it starts to turn purple. What else we got? Sorville, if I'm mispronouncing your name, I do apologize. But your question is, can you get big with just dumbbells and bodyweight training? You know what? If you are consistent with dumbbells and bodyweight training, you can make great progress. Will you maximize your physical genetic potential with just dumbbells and bodyweight? Probably not. But guess what? You can get started and move yourself in the right direction. So if you have dumbbells, and of course you have your body, so you have your body weight, that's enough to get moving in the right direction. And if you want a sample program to follow, head on over to my main channel, the Total Fitness Bodybuilding YouTube channel, open up the playlists, and right there, there's a full dumbbell-only workout program. Covers all your major muscle groups using nothing but dumbbell exercises. It's one that I put together within the last year or so. So it's a current program. Again, go check that out. And plus I have several videos there just covering dumbbell exercises. So go in there, check it out. Dumbbell only workouts. I mean, you can get some great results. Bottom line is you have to take action. You have to be consistent. All right, Torin is asking, he says, my fat-free mass is 20.5. I just started working out. Is it possible to increase that number? I don't know exactly what it means as far as genetic benchmark. Don't even worry about crap like that. Like, you just started working out. Is it possible to increase your muscle? Of course it is. Just like... remember I mentioned earlier, some people try and overcomplicate things. Like, this is overcomplicating it. You're getting caught up in the weeds. Like, you're looking up charts and graphs and seeing, well, what is my potential for building muscle? Like, just get your ass in the gym and start working out. Like, don't make it any more complicated than that. Eat as much good, healthy food as you can and work out in the gym. You will build muscle. I promise. If you do it. Like, don't overcomplicate things. You can't optimize what you don't standardize. Like, just start. Seriously, start. Get your ass up in the gym. Start exercising. Follow Lee Hayward's videos. He knows a thing or two. Seriously. No, but like, go follow like my basic total body workout 3 days a week. Get yourself in the gym. Just focus on the consistency. I know it sounds like I'm being sarcastic and everything else, but I'm saying this out of love and care and concern. Like, do not overcomplicate the process and bog yourself down with all this BS. Just eat right, exercise, and do it consistently. Once you have that under, like, you just start doing that. Like, if you did nothing else but just show up at the gym and did a total body workout 3 days a week, ate as much clean, healthy food as you could, like, you know, your 3 squares a day, focusing on protein, veggies, and complex carbohydrates, plus some healthy snacks in between, maybe, a couple protein shakes or whatever. And you just did that for the next 12 weeks. Like, I guarantee you will be bigger and stronger and have more muscle on your frame in 12 weeks if that's all you focused on and you didn't make it any more complicated than that. Then after you've got that habit in place, you're in the gym, you're working out, you're doing that, you're eating right, then we can start to optimize it. And then you can get into some of these more complicated programs and more complicated nutrition and supplementation protocols. But like, you can't shortcut the process. Like, start with the basics. Learn to walk before you run. Where are we? Moving on. Thanks for the link. That's in reply to the forearm workout. You're very welcome. Woodulos is joining us. A Stogie from Scotland. He's saying, greetings from Scotland. Of all the top powerlifters and bodybuilders you have met, who impressed you the most and why? Dorian Yates. Honestly, I've got a lot of respect for Dorian Yates. I just like his openness, his no BS approach, and I like how he's transitioned into a normal life outside of bodybuilding since he's retired. So he's one that's had a big impact. I don't agree entirely with all his training philosophies. Part of the reason why is because, it can be very intense and very, today I'm talking about injury, and I feel like such a so sarcastic in doing that, or such a, I don't know, hypocrite talking about trying to prevent injury of all things. But seriously, when you train with high intensity, it increases your risk of injury. And I'm good at that. But yeah, I and even Dorian admits, if you listen to some of his recent seminars and talks and stuff, he admits some of the drawbacks of his own training and stuff like that. And he was kind of pushing the limits back in the day because he didn't know any better. Nowadays, he would do things differently if he could go back in time and redo it again. But still, I have a lot of respect for him as a bodybuilder, as just a genuine guy. And I've met him a few times now, at the expos, at the Arnold Classic Expo, and there's no BS. Even though he didn't know me from a hole in the ground, first time I met him, I was starstruck. I'm holy shit, this is Mr. Olympia, right? Fellow I grew up reading about in the magazines. But he's just come on over, let's take a picture. There was nobody at his booth at the time. I went there, it was kind of a real slow time at the expo, and he just chatted away to me for several minutes, and it was just shooting the shit, I'm shooting the shit with you right now. I mean, he's just so genuine, and there was none of this nose stuck up in the air I'm Mr. Olympia, who are you, anything. He's just so genuine and down to earth. I got a lot of respect for the guy. All right, let's see what else we got. Brent is joining us. Mr. Retro Angel is joining us. He says, I've been watching your vids since 2012. Great stuff. I have a question. Have you ever thought of doing a local seminar and do gym sessions with your YouTube audience? Maybe some local cities local cities gyms. Yeah, I have thought about that. And it's something that, yeah, I would probably do. I mean, obviously it'd take a bit of time and energy and people to put it all together. But yeah, I'd definitely be up for that. Just out of curiosity, where are you located? I know if you're going to reply to this, and it's going to be way down the video chat list, but still, let me know where you're located to, and let me know. So something I can consider. I mean, as far as local, I think I could definitely pull something off locally, right? I mean, I've got a good relationship with the folks up at Platinum Health and Fitness that I train at. I think we could definitely pull something off locally, but I mean, that, probably be small. Now, obviously, it's good to start off small with something like that. But as far as going to other places and doing seminars, something I would probably seriously look into. But right now, the way I'm looking at it, there's so much stuff that I have on my plate when it comes to working with my coaching students and then a lot of the things that I'm running, that I just kind of focus on one thing at a time rather than trying to stack too much stuff up on my plate and have too much too soon. Let's see. NF Frost or N Frost 1986. Can you explain and give examples of MetCon training, and is it okay to run that and strength training separate times of the day? I'm gonna honestly, I've heard of MetCon. I've heard the term on some YouTube videos or something, but I'm not a. I'd have to even look it up because on the top of my head, I can't even recall what the fundamentals of MetCon training is. It kind of goes back to where I was speaking earlier. Like, this is obviously some advanced training protocol that is applicable for some people, you know, depending on where you're at. But bottom line, like the vast majority of people who come to me for advice and actually come start following my programs and actually start wanting to get help, like they may know a lot of stuff from watching videos and everything else, but they're not applying it. So what I often do when I'm working with people is I kind of like, let's declutter all the crap that you've been reading and getting bogged down and overwhelmed with. Let's simplify the process and just let's lay a solid foundation. Like, for 99% of the people listening to this, you do not need MetCon training to improve yourself. Like, you just need to be consistent with the basics. Honestly, consistent with the basics. Once you've got that underway, then again, you can start stacking on more advanced training protocols to advance your progress. But most people, you know, you don't need it. But again, if you want to discuss this offline, like, I would have to look it up and give you a sensible answer, because right off the top of my head, I didn't invent MetCon training. I don't even know the fundamentals of it right now. I'd have to look it up and give you a sensible answer. So we'll leave that one for now. Marcus is saying, I missed his question. I don't think I did, but I'll scroll up. I'm just going to scroll really quick. No, Marcus, I didn't miss your question. You didn't post it, or it didn't get posted. So there, if you have a question, post it at the end. Frisco is joining us. Frisco's 1964. Is it too late to get serious about lifting weights at 55 years of age, or just stick to being healthy? No, my friend, you can get your ass in the gym and work out at 55. I have a coaching student. His name is Graham. I posted up his pictures on my Facebook page just a little while ago. Graham has been working with me for the last 3 months. He's 54 years old. Just started working out. Like, he's not, you know, he was not working out. He came on board. He said he wanted to follow my program and get some help. In 3 months, he's put 2 inches on his arms, lost 3 inches off his waist. And I mean, you can just see the development in his chest, shoulders, triceps. And like, it's just like this amazing transformation, because even at 54 years old, his body responds just like a newbie, because he's consistent with these workouts. He's consistent with his nutrition. He's following healthy lifestyle habits. Like, he's like the perfect coaching client, because every darn thing I told him to do, guess what? He did it, right? Perfect student, right? Like, he's straight A student. Why? Because he followed the teacher's advice. Seriously. But you're 55, like, you can still make progress in your 50s. Just go to my website, leehayward.com. I've got a few case studies of guys in their 50s right there who have started working out and have made phenomenal progress. I even have one of my coaching students, 78 years old, got visible six-pack abs. His name is Amo. Like, seriously, you're not too old. Like, you're 55 years old. Like, if you don't start now, guess what? Before you know it, you're going to be 65 and wishing you had started when you were 55. And you're going to be kicking yourself in the ass at 65 saying, gee, I wonder if it's too old to start working out at 65. I wish I had started back when I was 55. Like, start now. You're never going to be as young as you are right now. So, like, just don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Start now. All right, let's move on. NF Frost is saying he has my training app and he loves it. Good. I appreciate that. Glad you enjoy the app. And just for those of you who have a copy of my app or downloaded it, I don't know if do you say you have a copy of it or you downloaded it or whatever. But those of you who are using my app, if you haven't already done so, could you do me a big favor? Could you go in on the App Store and just leave a review and say, like, hey, I downloaded Lee's app and it's great, or I downloaded Lee's app and it sucks, or leave an honest review. But please, I would appreciate that, right? More reviews, the better. Same thing with these videos, right? If you enjoy these videos, give them a thumbs up. If you hate these videos, what are you doing here watching them? Give it a thumbs down and leave. Right? I appreciate all the feedback like that. Like that all adds up, makes a difference, right? Positive and negative feedback. It's all good. It's all good for the rankings. Okay, what else we got here? I can't even pronounce your name. Monte Cristo, OF Monte Cristo. Okay, says, what's the difference between testosterone and HGH? Which one is more important for building muscle? Testosterone is the male hormone, testosterone. It's produced in the testicles primarily. It's also produced in other glands, but primarily in the testicles, and it is what makes a man a man. HGH is human growth hormone. It's produced in the pituitary gland, and that's in both men and women. It's produced, but they're two totally different hormones. One, the testosterone is a sex hormone. The human growth hormone is actually a human growth hormone. It's found in both men and women. But you have a gazillion hormones in your body, and they all play a role with building muscle, metabolic processes, everything. But from a practical point of view, like testosterone is more of a muscle building hormone. It gives you those male characteristics. And human growth hormone, even though it's called growth hormone, it's actually very powerful for improving the metabolism. So like it's one of those, it's what gives people who are, young people have a fast metabolism. Like you see teenagers who can eat and eat and eat and not gain a pound and still stay lean. That's because they have high levels of growth hormone in their bodies. Right. So it's kind of, growth hormone doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get huge, if you will. Right. It's kind of a weird hormone, but that's a very layman's definition of both of those hormones. Bottom line, man, if you're really interested in them, like we have a machine, it's called Google, right? And you can go in there and you can get all the information that has ever been published on testosterone and growth hormone. You can get it in a matter of seconds on Google. I just gave you a very layman's limp answer to that. We have Roshan joining us. Hey, how's it going? He's a regular to our video chats. We have Mohammed is joining us. He says, Lee, can I keep doing the same workout routine for up to 2 to 4 months if I keep finding results, or must you change it? No, if you're getting results, keep doing it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're enjoying your program, you're seeing results from your program, keep doing your program. There's no reason to change it. I mean, the only reason to change a program is, one, it stops working for you, or you're getting just bored of it and you really just want to change it up because you're sick and tired of doing the same thing over and over again. And a lot of times your motivation and your enthusiasm correlates to your progress. Like if you dread doing something, you're like, oh my God, I got to go in and do that same workout routine again, the same one I've been doing for the past 4 months. It's just, I hate that program. Oh, like if that's your attitude, then you're not going to give it 100%. You're not going to be enthusiastic about it. And obviously you're not going to make the same progress as if you have a program that you really enjoy and it's delivering results. So enthusiasm and progress kind of go hand in hand, but the main thing is the progress. I mean, if you're seeing results, keep doing it, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Abram is joining us. I recently started keto, feeling nauseated during the workout. What's up? I'll be totally blunt and honest with you. I hate keto. And what's up? Probably your body is very acidic, because keto usually recommends lowering carbohydrates. A lot of times you even need to lower vegetables to get your carbohydrates so low. Vegetables are alkaline. They can help balance out the acid-alkaline balance in your body. Keto is a very acidic diet. Like protein and fat is very acidic. You need to balance it out with like lots of vegetables and things to help give you a more equal acid-alkaline balance, and just to have more energy, help your body process the lactic acid and stuff like that. I mean, I know some people follow keto and they love it and they swear by it or whatever, but honestly, I don't like keto. I tried it. I never did like it. I don't think it's a lifestyle approach, to think I'm not going to eat carbohydrates for the rest of my life and cut out all that food group. I don't think it's practical. So I'm a big fan of a well-balanced diet, eating protein, eating carbohydrates, and eating fat in equal balance ratios. I find that just works well for most people because our body is designed to be in balance. And I find that when you keep it in balance, things just work properly. So if you're feeling like crap during your workout and you just started keto, it's probably because of the diet. I would not recommend it. Taurus is joining us. He says, Lee, I'm doing bench press and I'm aiming for 4 sets of 10 reps, but say on the 3rd set, I get stuck at around 7 or 8 reps. Would it hurt to do a 4 set or should I rack it? Okay, you're hitting failure at 7 to 8 reps on your 3rd set. Honestly, you really don't. Again, it depends. Why do you need to do 4 sets? Like if you hit failure on your 3rd set, you really don't need to do a 4th set. Like you just stimulated the muscle. Probably just rack it, and I would save that 4th set for once you can get to the point where you can do those 3 sets of 10 reps and you feel like you still got more in the tank, then you can probably add in a 4th set. But the main thing is focus on the progressive overload. So like if you can do 3 sets of 10 with good form, then increase the weight for your next workout and try and match that. And like if you might get a couple sets of 10 and then you're hitting failure before your 10th rep on the 3rd set, then probably keep that weight until you can get 3 sets of 10 with good form and then up it. Like 4 sets of an exercise, assuming that like it's work sets, not counting warm-ups, that's a lot. It is. Like honestly, I find in my own case, unless I'm training a certain program that requires you to have higher volume of sets and reps, like maybe it's some sort of conditioning program you're doing or whatever, but from a practical point of view, 3 working sets per exercise is more than enough. Like you do not need to do more than that. And then of course some people would argue you don't even need that many, but three good heavy sets of an exercise is more than enough to get adequate muscle stimulation, right? In your case there, I would just stop it. I wouldn't bother to try and do a 4th set unless you wanted to lighten up the weight and do kind of like a back off high rep pumping set. That's something you could do. Like that's one of the Vince Gironda, the Iron Guru back in the day. He had a system in place where he would do 3 sets pyramiding up in weight, and then on the 4th set he would drop the weight down and do like a high rep finishing set, if you will. That's a cool way to train, and it's actually a nice way to get the extra volume in, get some extra blood flow and time under tension. But the risk of injury is quite low because obviously you're lowering the weight on that final set. How that worked was set 1 would be 10 reps. Set 2, you increase the weight a little bit, do 8 reps. Set 3, increase the weight a little bit more, do 6 reps. And then on the 4th set, you would drop the weight back and then do a high rep pumping set of 15 at the end. So that's something that you might want to do that would give you that time under tension and that extra pump you want without risking injury in the process. And we all know that you need to stay injury-free. We'll leave it at that. Serville is saying, thank you, boss. You're welcome. Roshan is saying, have you heard about YouTube and the FTC? Nope. You want to tell me about it? I got to be honest. Like when it comes to the news and following along with all the crap that's in the news, I really do not. I couldn't care less because I don't have any control over it, and I don't want to be bogged down with all the negativity. So no, I haven't. But I guess you mentioned it to me. I suppose I'll have to go look it up after the video chat. That's the way it is with the news. Like you do not need to follow the news. If there's something that is newsworthy, somebody will tell you about it. You don't need to be the one watching the news and absorbing all that negativity, because let's face it, the news is like 90% negative because good news does not sell, negative news sells. And I don't want to fill my brain with more negativity than I need. Right? There's enough negativity in the world as it is. I try to fill it with good stuff. And part of the way that I do that is I avoid reading the news. I don't watch the news on TV. I don't read the news on the internet. Like if something is newsworthy, somebody will tell me about it. Like my mom told me that Donald Trump was going through something, and I still haven't followed that on the news. And I couldn't care less because I have no control over him or what he's doing or in it. And he has no impact on me, really. So he can go do his thing and I'll do mine. I don't follow the news. I couldn't care less. Where are we? Robert is joining us. I have a mild case of arthritis in my right shoulder, and it's very annoying. I can appreciate that. I'm not sure if that was a question, a statement, or what, but if I do have some shoulder workout videos there. And what I mean by that is like mobility. And when it comes to the shoulder stuff, I usually refer to it as rotator cuff mobility. So if you do a search for Lee Hayward rotator cuff, you'll see all the videos that I have showing different mobility exercises that you can do that may help with your shoulder. Now, I'm not saying it will or not. I mean, this is something you might need to go get physio for, depending on your situation. I mean, you might need cortisone shots or whatever. I really don't know. I mean, every case is individual. But if you want some help with exercises that you can do to try and improve it on your own, check out my videos, Lee Hayward rotator cuff. Just do a search for it. Another good source of like rehabilitation videos and physiotherapy and kind of like do it yourself at home rehab stuff. Dr. Alan Mandel has a YouTube channel. He's got a big following, like over 1 million subscribers. Just do a search for Dr. Alan Mandel, and he's got videos on virtually every ache, pain, pull, strain that you can think of. I've used a lot of his videos to help rehab some of my own aches and pains and injuries over the years. No BS, very knowledgeable guy. I gotta say, I like his videos. And of course, there's tons of physiotherapists who've got videos online as well, but he's just one that I happen to find I've gotten some help from some of his videos. So again, if you want, do a search for him. Okay, what else we got? Mr. Retro Angel, who was asking about the seminars. He's from Philadelphia. I've never been to Philadelphia before. Who knows? Maybe there will be a total fitness bodybuilding seminar coming to Philadelphia in the near future. We never know. All right. Chris is asking, Lee, I don't think I've heard you go into detail about how you recover from injuries in the past and how you'll approach your injury and workouts in the next 3 to 6 months. All right. That's very relevant. And I'm going to discuss that one. And who knows, that might even take us up to the hour. All right. For those of you who are just tuned in right now and you haven't caught the beginning part of the video chat yet, this morning I had a bit of a shitty morning. I ended up tearing my tricep lat tie-in area in the gym this morning. And I did it doing a photo shoot. We were taking some pictures for my website, and I was holding the top of the pull-up, right? You know, because I normally when I do pull-ups, I just up and down, your regular repetition cadence and everything else. But I was holding the top of it, and I wanted to hold it so that I could get a good picture of it, not moving, and the camera not be able to focus. And as I was straining to hold that top part of the pull-up, my tricep lat tie-in area on the left side just, right, it just popped. And it hurt like hell. So I, bottom line, I got myself, I'm not 100% sure if it's a tear or a really bad pull, but it hurts like a SOB right now. I'm on painkillers to help numb the pain. But knock on wood, it's not deformed. Like the tricep did not roll up into itself, or there's no big muscle gap or anything in the lat tie-in area there. Whereas I had a similar injury on the right side back in 2008, and there was a gap in my armpit on my right side. Like you if you put your hands in there, like you can feel the tendons, because there's right in the corner of the armpit, like the muscle is totally detached, right? There's a gap. On the left side, there's no gap. And the tricep, there doesn't seem to be any deformation there, but it hurts like a SOB. So maybe from that, I would assume that it's not tendon detached. It's probably just muscle fiber tear. And hopefully that's all it is, because muscle fiber tears can generally recover on their own and go back to full mobility and strength and everything else. It's just like, okay, you got the fibers, they tore, but then they can grow back again. If it's a tendon is actually detached, then that's when the muscle like rolls up into or gets deformed. Like in my case with my bicep tear that I had a few years back. I sound like I've been through the meat grinder here, and I guess it's true. That's the reality. When you push yourself in the gym, you're going to get injured. But 2010 it was, I tore my bicep, and my left bicep is now shorter. So there was actually some tendon damage there because it got deformed, right? The left bicep is shorter than the right. But knock on wood, there doesn't seem to be any difference in the muscle. So hopefully it's just muscle fiber tears and they will recover. Now, what do you do? All right. First off, with a muscle tear, I would not recommend icing it. I would actually just just rest it. Like, don't ice it, because what happens is if you do have a tendon tear or something like that, or even muscle fiber tears, and you ice it, that causes the muscles to contract even more. You could have caused even more separation due to the icing. So it just kind of just relax, just rest it. Take some anti-inflammatories to kind of numb the pain, like ibuprofen or whatever. But don't do anything. Like, don't try and work it. Like, let's work the kink out of it. No, don't do anything. Just like rest, take some ibuprofen, and don't do anything. So that's one thing that I'm doing. Like, I didn't ice it today because the whole, rest and ice it, not necessarily, ice is not always a good thing for an injury. As far as my rehab goes, like right now, I know for the next month, like upper body workout is pretty much out of the question for me until I'm feeling better. And what I'll do in the meantime, like probably after the 24 hours or so, once the initial shock and pain has gone out of the system, I'll do some light movement for that area just to kind of work the muscles. Like, I'm not going to do diddly squat today, just let it rest. But within the next 24 hours, just try and move my arm and shoulder around a bit more, and just trying to stretch and work the muscles a little bit. And work within your pain threshold. Like, that's one of the key things. When I've worked with physiotherapists in the past, they always say, like, work within your pain threshold. And I'll get into doing that. And sometimes it's even like really simple stuff, like literally grab a can of soup or a water bottle and just use that as resistance, and do some like very light exercises with that. Just very, very light resistance. Again, it's just movement, working the muscles, having it stretch and move to just kind of help to aid with the mobility and the recovery process that way. And then when I go back to the gym, I'll probably start with like empty machine handles. Like, when I feel good enough to do that. Like, for example, I might take like the hammer strength machines and just use the empty handle with no weight on the machine whatsoever, and just do repetitions with that. Again, just focusing on the movement. And if that feels good, then guess what? The next workout, I'll probably put a 2.5 pound plate on each side. Go through the motions with that. If that feels good, then the next workout, I'll put a 5 pound plate on each side and go through the motions. And that's how I've rehabbed injuries, is just movement, frequent movement, and very, very gradual progressive overload. Starting off ridiculously light, like literally a water bottle or a soup can. And first, you don't even have any resistance, just moving the arm itself, use the weight of the arm, and then the weight of a water bottle. Then go in and actually lift the weight of an empty machine handle. Then put a 2 pound plate on the side, then a 5 pound plate, and then work your way up gradually. And then over the course of several weeks, you'll gradually work back into actually doing sensible exercises again. But it's a long, tedious process. It really is. Now, in the meantime, what I'm going to be doing, regular cardio, right? Because I don't want to get fat during this whole transition. Like, a lot of times when people get injured, they say, "Oh, screw it, right? I'm going to eat like a pig and sit on the couch and binge watch Netflix." Like, that's the worst thing you can do. I mean, like, because I'm going to keep myself active with low intensity cardio, like getting outside for a walk or using the cardio machines at the gym, stuff like that. I'm going to be doing some light leg exercises that don't involve my upper body. So obviously squats and deadlifts are out of the question, right? You can't be doing that. But I can get on the leg extension machine and pump out some sets there. I can probably do some leg curls and pump out sets there, some calf raises, and maybe a bit of core and abdominal work, and then cardio. And that's basically what I'll be doing, along with some just movement mobility. And the bottom line is just work within your pain threshold and have the consistency day after day, just moving it and letting it recover on its own. Follow it up good, solid nutrition. And that's pretty much all you can do, right? Like, unless, of course, now you have tendon ligament detachments, then you got to go get those tendons and ligaments surgically reattached. But I don't think I'm in that situation. I mean, it doesn't feel like that. It's not that bad. Like, if I couldn't move my arm at all, yeah, I'd be in the hospital now, probably under the knife. But it's just a really bad pull or muscle fiber tear. I'm not exactly sure yet until I start, we get into the next day or so, and I'll see if, like I mentioned that earlier in the chat, if it starts to bruise and discolor, then there's fibers are torn, because the blood vessels are torn, and then it starts to get purple and discolored. It hasn't started yet, but it's probably too soon to tell. Usually takes 24 hours for that stuff to happen. But yeah, that's my plan for rehab now over the next little while. It's a frustrating piss off, because I was on a roll. Like, I was feeling really good. I got myself back in shape again, like lean, consistent with my workouts, and just like really just feeling good about my fitness again. And now it's just like, right. Anyway, so be it. It's a lesson learned. Live and learn. It's another test. That's what I'm looking at it as. All right, Jonah is joining us. Jonah is a regular to the inner circle, been around for years. And he's asking, what do you think of rotating exercise variations and intensifiers, like doing slow, eccentric, conventional deadlift or alternating stances? I'm a big fan of changing it up like that. And each time you change up the variation, it's like a totally different exercise. So like, let's look at the deadlift, for example. If you do a conventional deadlift and then a sumo deadlift, like those are two totally different exercises. If you do a Romanian deadlift versus a conventional, different exercise. You do a power rack lockout deadlift. That's a different exercise. So yeah, all these different exercises are a great way to add variety to your workouts, and each one will spur on new muscle growth and help spur on strength gains and work different aspects of the muscles. Like one school of thought, or one style of training, I should say, that really emphasized this was the West Side Barbell program. Like you follow West Side Barbell, and they were a big advocate of changing up your exercise variations and setting records on all these different variations. So like, let's just say the deadlift, you'd probably have a record on your sumo deadlift. And once you hit a plateau with that, okay, well, let's start working on your conventional deadlift. Okay, you're going to set a record on that. Once you hit a record on that and you hit a plateau, okay, well, let's start working on power rack lockouts. You set a record on that and hit a plateau. Okay, let's start working on deficit deadlifts, where you're actually standing on plates or standing on a small box or something. Set a record on that. And then you can probably restart the whole cycle again. And then each time you go back to a previous variation, you can build yourself up to where you were and then probably hit a new personal record. So you're rotating through different exercise variations, and each time you go through it, you're strengthening different aspects of the lift, different aspects of your muscles and tendons and ligaments, and overall you can just keep getting stronger. So I'm a big fan of that, and I've utilized that type of strategy myself over the years. Even changing the tempo, that's a huge thing. I mean, just changing the tempo changes the exercise entirely. If you don't focus on the negative, and now all of a sudden you just slow down that negative a couple seconds and focus on that, you will get muscle stimulation that you've never experienced before. Right? So all those things. I mean, there's so many ways to change up your workouts and change the intensity and the variety. Like, you don't realize how many ways you can change it up. Like, you could do the exact same workout, just change the tempo and get a totally different muscle stimulation. Or you could do the exact same workout, just change up the sets and reps, totally different muscle stimulation. Or just change up the exercises, right? Like we mentioned, the different deadlift variations or different squat variations or bench press variations. Again, it's endless, literally. All right, let's see what else. Okay, we're actually over the hour, and you know what? I'm going to cut it off at an hour because it's probably long enough for me right now, and my arm is starting to bug me, so I'm probably going to take some more ibuprofen and relax. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in for the video chat. Hopefully you found it helpful. I certainly enjoy these chats. I mean, it's a nice way to just connect at the end of the week and kind of shoot the breeze and have some fun. So as always, I will get the replay of this posted up within the next 24 hours with the timestamps, so that if you want to go back and check out some of the questions and search through them, you can do so. And in the meantime, have yourself a fantastic weekend. I'll talk to you next week. Over and out. And